2 for Tuesday. Roll that video. Wow. Whoa. Okay. Whew. Dizzy. Okay, guys. Part 1. 2 for Tuesday. McDonald's. My God, clean your bathrooms, McDonald's. Oh my God, dude. Just roll the video. Ew. Yuck. Ugh.
Ew. Nasty.
Part 2, 2 for Tuesday. We're going to talk a bit about exposure 3 and how I really don't believe it's a good idea that you use exposure 3 for basic editing. There's definitely some advantages to exposure 3, but I would not do the basic editing in it for a few specific reasons, and I'll show you in the next couple of little videos, and then I'll come back and I'll explain the rest. That's it, 2 for Tuesday, part 2, exposure 3. Be right back. So we're gonna start with this image. I took a few pictures that I purposely underexposed by a great deal, at least 4 stops. So we're gonna start with those images. I wanna see what I can bring back. And let's take a look. So first thing we go, obviously exposure. We're gonna try and bring this back up 4 stops. I love this little picture. So I don't mind that. You'll notice that the histogram is actually on this side, so it's a little different than Lightroom, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. If I bring it up more, now you'll see there's this horrible glow, right? We don't want to bring that too much. So I thought around 4.5 stops looks pretty good here. All right. Now let's take the shadows up a little bit more in here. That's fine. Highlights. See, we get that highlights, then we get this horrible hue here. Let's see if we can get that temperature. Yeah, you see, that's pretty good. I like this. There's one thing about it. Look, it actually gives you a preview. You just mouse over it, and it's giving you a preview of what it will be, and it's fairly fast. I like that. I like that a lot. So whites obviously works a lot like, and I mean a lot like Adobe Lightroom. Blacks, well, we're always pretty much at the black point here. Character, and it works. This you'll notice. Yeah. Nice and sharp. 600mm lens. Thank you, Tamron. Love it. All right. So here in the detail, again, much like Lightroom, I mean the same concepts here. We're getting it where it says luminance in Adobe Lightroom. It shows brightness here. Same deal. We're gonna check. See, I lowered it a little bit. Let's see how much that worked. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah. I don't mind that at all. Okay. We handled the high ISO. Okay, let's. So that was our basic. That was the detailed panel. And then we have color. Now within color, the color saturation, they actually have all these boost the midtones, boost all, etc., etc., etc. I went through a few of them. You know, I mean, I'd rather do everything or most everything manually, but I mean, they're here. I mean, look, you know, look, boost the midtones, a really quick fix. That could be an option in some pictures for. Very good. Okay, so and you can save. You can just do all your adjustments, and then you can save it as a preset. Very quick. I'm not gonna do much here. Honestly, I might actually bring the red down ever so slightly. So that green there. Let's see. Actually, it's a little more cyan. Cyan or is it blue? No, definitely green and cyan. Yeah, that's actually a little bit of both. Alright, so let's go a little bit lower here, a little bit lower here. Don't want too much. Nice, like that. Okay, so we're keeping this here. Color's done. I really don't need tone curve. There's just bringing this image back is enough. Believe me, you're not gonna play with it anymore. Overlays. Here's the interesting part about this. You have all kinds of different borders, lighting effects, light effects, if you will. You know, all kinds of. And you can literally move this around here. Hold on. Zoom. Make it bigger. Change the opacity. Fun stuff. You can add texture, all kinds of different dust, image wash. Look at this. It's all kinds of effects. Super nice. None of which I would use on this image, obviously. Okay, so focusing. Presets. Glamour, short look. It actually gives you some decent, like that one, like a sharper low radius. You know, you notice our eyes came up a little bit more sharp. But look at all the grain it adds, right? So let's take a look at that. See? Gets it a little sharper, but ton of grain added. So you want to be careful of that. Of course, grain, if you want to add grain, there's infrared. Again, more effects, a bokeh effect, which is, hold on. Let's turn it back on. So you do this. Go. And you just mouse through them and you'll get all kinds of different types of blur for the background. interesting. Of course, lens correction if you have Tamron model. What was I using? Oh, yeah, it won't show this one. It's a G2. Too new yet, so it doesn't have that lens. But there you go. Crop works pretty much like, again, I mean, this is very, very similar. Very, very similar to, there you go. And that's it. It's perfect. So I think that looks good. I want to brighten it up a little bit. It's a little bit too dark. So let's go back into the basic panel and see if we can't boost up the highlights a little bit more. And the shadows as well. Not going to get much from the shadows because I've underexposed it so much. But I definitely wanted a little bit more exposure here. I've had to put it up all the way 4.5 stops. Let's see. Yeah, there's not much we can get out. And you notice in here is nothing. There's no detail. It is a black pit of despair. Gone. Nothing there. Okay. So that's what we're able to get out of the raw file in Alien Express exposure. Now, I already went over and I've already edited the software. Excuse me, I've already edited the image in Lightroom. Well, just because I wanted to compare, so let's go and take a look at that. So here's the first thing I see is this black pit of despair has detail in it. So it definitely has detail in the raw. So let's take a look what I did. So 4 stops, not 4.5. I brought it up 4 stops. Highlights and shadows again. I brought them up. Whites, put the blacks down a little bit. Pretty much the same amount of clarity. And I mean, in the basic panel, once I got this up, I mean, this is basically the image I got. I went in. Certainly, I've moved the aqua and the blue around like I did in the other software, and no split toning. So I did some sharpening, and I again boosted up that luminance so we can get a little bit less. Now look at nice and smooth, right? And this is nice and sharp here on the eye, and that's at 1:1. I didn't remove any chromatic opera. I didn't do anything extra. Okay, there's nothing done extra here. Basic editing. Now, I want you to look at this, and I want you to understand that I boosted it up by 4 stops using the raw file, and there's detail there. Okay, so we see detail. Look, there's somebody's boot or shoe. Okay, and I can see this. That's underexposed by 4 stops. So within Lightroom, I've boosted it by 4 stops and I get detail. It's not the greatest detail, but there's detail there. Okay? If we come back to here, and I boosted it up 4.5 stops. Just the basic editing is more or less the same. And nothing. There's no detail there. This is the same file. This is the same raw file. So, just in basic editing, when I look at this, I have to say no. I have to say absolutely not. This is unacceptable. Look at this image. Now look at this image. I brought out all the detail in Lightroom, and I couldn't bring it out here. And it's the same file. Okay, so as you've seen in the video, and as I'll discuss with you right now, the reason I say do not use Exposure 3 for basic editing, you plainly seen when it came to trying to bring back the shadows, when it came to bringing back those highlights and getting some detail in those highlights. It failed miserably compared to Adobe Lightroom. Just miserably. And there was nothing to do. I tried it with many other images. Great, if you have a perfectly exposed image and your highlights are there, your shadows are there, everything is there already. There's some finite adjustments you can make. Okay. But if you're exposing for the sky so you can bring back the shadows after, you're going to lose a lot of detail if you're using exposure 3. And it's just a fact. So as you can see, the picture of the girl in and the shadows behind her with Lightroom, the same raw file, and I brought all that detail back, and in exposure 3 it just didn't come back. It didn't even come anywhere near back. It was complete black. There was nothing that I could do to bring it back. No exposure, no bringing up the shadows. Nothing brought that detail back, and the detail is in the raw file. So exposure for basic editing, don't even go there. So this is it. If I still have to pay Lightroom, so $10 a month for that subscription so I can do my basic editing, and then I have to pay another $100 for exposure, it's just not worth it. Exposure's close. It's very close. Very close. If you can bring back those details in the highlights, bring back those details in the shadows, I'm on board. I love the rest of it. It's fantastic. You got a lot of film emulators in there, which worked beautifully when I was with a properly exposed and properly edited portrait, things like this. It was unbelievable. I love the presets. But if you can't do basic editing in it, sorry alien skin, but you know, it's just not there yet. It's close though. Keep it up. Keep it up. All right. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me. I'm out. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to click the like button. Click the subscribe. It's absolutely free to subscribe. YouTube video. And hey, if you ever want any videos, any advice on subjects, topics, whatever you want, you let me know down in the comments below, and we'll have a good discussion. All right, guys, take it easy, and I'll see you next Tuesday. All right, guys, bye.